Trauma-informed practice is important because it looks at the pillars of trauma-informed care. So if we look at those, the first one is realise. And when you realise, you're realising the impact that trauma has on a child's life, academically, socially, developmentally. And there you're looking at the barriers to their learning and you're investigating that.
Trauma-informed practice is important in our school because some of the children that attend this school have gone through traumatic situations at home, and it kind of feeds in, obviously, then to school life. There's a saying, you're broken through relationships and you're fixed through relationships. So I think it's very important for us here to create strong relationships with the students, to help them building and nurturing relationships with the children. We've dedicated time during the week for teachers and adults in the school to have either class time or one-to-one time to kind of develop those relationships, whether that's through parallel games, play activities like that, to try and create those bonds that will kind of help nurture those strong relationships down the line.
The relationships are really close because it's not like a huge school, so I think like most teachers know your name and who you are, and they know our parents and our brothers and sisters, so they just like kind of nice.
It's very, there's a big connection between all of them, because whenever I see a teacher or like other students see a teacher, they always know who they are and know their names. So it's like the students and the teachers have a very good connection.
And well, we actually do something in our class. It's called connection time.
In our class, connection time, and we all get in a circle, and how we all connect together is just wonderful.
My favourite thing about the school is that it's like a safe place. So if you ever need anything to talk about, you can just go up to one of the teachers and tell them what your problem is.
The changes that we've made in our school is to view behaviour as communication. So we're trying to stay curious about a child. Why is something happening? What has happened for this child? We're also looking at how the language that we use when we're speaking to the children. We're talking about using language that doesn't have shame or blame attached to it.
Calling the emotion as you see it. So if a child is upset, saying, I see that you're upset, I see that you're angry, letting them know that you understand that. Sometimes you'll have situations where students will get very upset. They're not able to control their emotions. I think one of the biggest lessons we've taken away from that is not to personalise it. And when you don't personalise it, and you kind of help those children de-escalate, you find that it just creates a calmer setting, and you can work towards understanding how the needs of those particular children and how they need to de-escalate and what you can do for them. So I guess it's kind of moving away from that punitive idea, which can be a bit disarming for teachers and adults in a school to start with. But when you compare it to that trauma-informed approach, you can see there's a noticeable difference in, we'll say, the outcome of a conflict or an escalation that occurs.
They take you out of class and ask you how you feel, and then sometimes they'll take you either to the swing downstairs or to the sensory pod or the sensory room, and they could just give you a minute and then they'll talk about it after.
So the impact that the changes have had on the children, they found that we were giving them more space to respond, and we were also letting them respond and then helping them to regulate if there was a behaviour issue. And we have a phrase in the school, we connect before we correct. So we're looking, I suppose they find that quite a change, that we want to connect with them, we want to relate to them, and then after, I think we usually leave it an hour, 90 minutes, to address what happened. So I think that's the biggest change, and they've had to trust us.
Instead of shouting about it and telling you that that's wrong, they'll ask you like, why would you do that, and why, like, what's the problem, instead of like shouting at you.
My favourite place in the school was the MultiSensor room, and why is because it was just very comfy and relaxing.
There's all like lights and all, teddies, squishies and all. And anytime I get angry, I just squeeze them with my hands. So, like, if you're sad, the teachers calm you down and like they bring you out and do stuff. And when you're ready to go back into class, they bring you back into the class. The sensor room is important to calm you down and everything. And then the teachers will ask you what's wrong, and then you can tell them.
People are either annoyed or like stressed out, and they just need some place to go to have relaxation time with themselves and think about all the stuff that's happening, so they can just clear it out of their heads.
The impact on staff, it's been a hard change at times, because we're moving from a behaviouralist approach to a relational. So again, we're going back to connecting with the children, being curious about what's happening to you, and then helping them to, as a co-regulator, you're helping them regulate. And I suppose that's a big shift, because you're changing your language, you're also trusting the process. And I think that's a big challenge, to trust it.
Yeah, I think it's a safe place to come.
Whenever I'm in school, I feel very safe with all the teachers and my friends and all the other students, because I know they're not bad people and I know I can trust all of them. So this is a very safe place.